A 24-year-old man was charged with the offenses of robbery, violation of personal liberty, and for the offense of assault. The accused regularly assaulted for more than a year his mother and father, who lived with him in Köröslab, and his grandmother, who had surgery for a broken leg and became disabled. He also took money from them several times. While drunk, he repeatedly hit his mother, biting her hands and little fingers, punching her in the nose with his fist, hitting her on the head when she was sleeping, and kicking her to the rhythm of a nursery rhyme. He just had taught her. When his mother tried to leave the flat to call the police, he stopped her. He also beat his grandmother's arm. He also assaulted his father outside their flat. He dragged him in front of a shop, punched him with his fist, and hit his head on the stairs. The prosecutor's office proposed a prison sentence for the accused in custody, as well as a ban from public office and confiscation of property as an additional punishment. These are the written news. Let's see the story on TV.
Shorty, honey, I'm so happy you're home.
Hi, Mom, I'm glad
Do you
to.
want something to eat? Something
No,
to drink?
no, thank you.
Apple juice?
No, thank you.
I made a cheesecake just to celebrate your return.
It's very awesome, but I don't. Only one thing what's interesting me. Where is my money?
Do you remember the lullaby? We used
Yeah,
to
I
sing
remember
together?
the lullaby, but can you answer
Want to
for?
sing it together?
Sorry?
Want to sing it together?
No, I don't want to sing. Mom, please stop this bullshit. Mom, talk to you. You stole my life.
Are you crazy or what? There is a child watching. She is 2 years old. She cannot see these fake stories.
What are you saying? It's the reality.
What's the matter now?
Real issue and the government
Even
doesn't do
if-
anything to
Even
it.
if it's not something that you can show to everyone in this way, it's so harmful for all of us. It's violent, it's fake.
Guys, can you stop it? We didn't receive any informations yet. Let them continue.
What information can you get from this?
We don't know anything about them.
Well, thanks.
All right, let's chill down. I know it's about interaction and I'm asking your opinion. Can you just sit down, all of you? Just relax a bit. You will have the possibility to tell your opinion about this situation later on. And maybe it was a bit too much as a starter. So let's have a commercial. A commercial can always do something good.
These days it's so hot outside.
I know, but I have the perfect solution.
For real?
Yes.
What is that?
Then you drink me beer.
Oh, so nice.
Let's have a beer
And cheer!
It already feels better. A beer can solve a lot of problems. And of course, I see that there's, you already know it from experience, but there's a lot of tension already. So I think maybe it was too much with this story. Let's see the story in the form of a reality.
My name is Kalman, I'm 44 years old, and I didn't want to have a son like that.
Monica, 42, unemployed. I just wanted to make him happy.
So you are here again?
Yes, I'm coming home. Are you happy?
I thought you are living in the pub now.
I tried, yeah. But you have spent my money.
What money? You should get a job and work for money.
What? I had money from the orphanage.
That's not your money. What do you think? What should we live on?
What are you talking about, you fucking loser, bloody asshole?
Hey, don't talk to me like that in my house.
Hey, is it your house?
Get out of here!
Please,
Get out.
stop! Please!
I'm Iboya and 66 years old.
I didn't want my son to marry a wife like this. I didn't want grandson like this. I didn't want years of retirement like this. They are living in my house of my pension.
Police! Police! 112! Please come! Please, quickly!
Stop! Stop! Take it down! Take it to school!
It's Jod. I'm 24 years old. I was only 4 years old when they put me into a fucking orphanage. No one who visited me for years. It's just a bad joke, not a real family.
Okay, now you see. It's there. He was an alcoholic. He was an alcoholic. They were all violent. They received help from the government. They wasted in God knows what.
How stupid you are. You're only trying to blame them. It's
I'm
not their
not blaming them. I'm looking at what's happening.
Child was taken away from a family.
Yeah, they helped
The
them.
government should have provided
They take him
services.
away because they were all crazy. Come on, are you watching what I am
Enough
watching?
of this! Why are you arguing again?
But are you watching what we are all watching?
None of you are fully right. You're not right. The government didn't provide any psychological support to the family, to none of them. And you are not right either. The state did give them financial support when the child left the orphanage.
Only good thing he said right now.
Okay, so right now I would like to say, and I'm the joker, I'm facilitating this one. So please sit down, right? This is something that we should keep in mind. Stay on your seat, and when the time is coming, you can come and you can intervene with this one. And of course, like always, a bit of commercial and maybe a bit of change, just to forget about those bad things that were happening here. Maybe it's better to change, and let's have some commercial.
Oh no, my shoelaces are open again, and I cannot tie them. I need help.
Here I am to help you. A 993 to solve all your issues, even the stupid ones.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, maybe the reality was also a bit too much in this case. Let's see how the story is depicted in the 8 o'clock news in one of the channels.
Good morning. We are here at News Today with Kalman, the alcoholic father. I mean, we all know guys like this, right? But we are here still to hear his opinions. So, you have an alcohol problem, right?
No.
No, oh, of course. But you were an employee when the tragedy happened, right?
No. Yes. Yes.
Oh, I see a bit of confusion here. So they didn't fire you because you were alcoholic?
No.
Oh no, but
No.
you had other issue maybe you want to talk about?
Well, they said I was drinking, but everybody did. Everybody is drinking. It's normal, and I was working hard all the time. But that kid, that was loud. I couldn't handle it. I just really, it's not my fault. It's not my fault, and it's not about the alcohol.
Can we stop again? Oh, okay. Makes no sense. I mean, we are all watching. He got fired, and not because any reason. It was because he was lazy. He was alcoholic. He had a bad behavior. She just said that. We are all watching the same thing. You can see clearly.
No, how can you be so blind? Don't you know that these people do not have the same opportunities in life, starting with education, job option, and then transportation?
You are
They
excusing
can't do
them
better
from
than
everything.
this.
You are just excusing them for everything.
Yes.
He was alcoholic.
The
He had a
government didn't have
family. He
them.
should have thought about this. It's a harmful for
Oh my God,
society.
you're focusing
It's
on
on
the...
our
No,
shoulder.
stop it! Enough! You're focusing on the wrong problem. Being unemployed is actually very common.
And so?
You can't have a higher salary job if you don't meet the required qualifications.
You
but
can't have a high salary job even if you don't have a job.
But you... but you can't get the qualifications because you are working and you don't have time to get them and you don't have the financial stability to go and go back to study. It's domino
My
effect.
heart is itchy.
Check it on Google. Check it on Google.
Okay, and this is a good word. Check it on Google and sit down. We information that you can do, and we will have a discussion afterwards. But of course, now it's not commercial break, even though you believe that it's going to happen. But we are going to change the channel, and we are going to see the same story on another TV channel in the news.
Oh, we are here with the model. Oh, Daddy, what's going on? Oh, this is so sorry. Please don't hurt me. Oh, God, what they are doing? How are you feeling now?
Terrible! I wanted him to have a great future! I wanted him to be a priest!
Oh, God. But they told us that you called the police. Why you call the police?
I called it for his father!
For his father?
Right!
Oh, God, what's
I
going
don't
on?
wanted to go to prison!
Hi. Yeah. Let me pass. Let me pass. I have to make a point. They got help. They got all the help they needed. They wasted it. Everything was going to waste.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Can you
Everything was
see?
going to waste. I saw. Yes, I can see. I saw. I saw that they were all dysfunctional.
Are you
and
blind?
one-
This is violence. What this policeman is doing?
No, this is not violence.
Have you
That
seen
is
the
violent.
police?
With
Have
his
you
You are
family.
arguing again.
Oh.
What's the point of it?
What's in
I called
your
the
mind?
government to resign because they could have prevented everything.
Why?
They were just.
What are you saying? Can you hear yourself right now?
Yes.
Guys, things are never that simple. We should always look into things way deeper. There's never just one person to blame.
Okay, you are already on my stage, so I'm sure they are going to cover you because it's too much of you. So at this moment, you know what? It's time for a commercial.
Oh, Daddy, what's going on?
I don't know. I have a huge spot on my shirt and it doesn't go away.
Oh, what a pity. And today too. But I have the solution to your problems.
So be so to wash all your problems away.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nice to see we didn't discuss where you will be sitting and which is more comfortable for you to see, either to stay or go down. Oh, that should be Okay, earlier we were playing in stages that were in the same ground, so we didn't have a stage of higher praise, so we were just rehearsing now. So I'm just asking you about the story. What was the story about? What did you see now in the performance? You can just bring words, ideas. What did you see there? What was this about? This performance about?
Family problems. Three generations with issues.
Generation issues, different generations? Different generations living together? You mean? You said something, somebody here?
Family problems.
Family problems, Just problems?
Violence.
Violence,
Alcohol.
Alcohol was also involved, as we know, yes? Patriarchy, so the father, the man in the family.
The grandma.
The grandma is being... Okay, so the grandma was a victim of the patriarchy as well. What else did you see in the story? If you remember the three people who were coming here, what were they like?
Public.
The public. Were they neutral, biased? What was their attitude like? Yes.
It was like three different perspectives for the problem. Everybody was watching from kind of different perspectives. In some way, none of them wanted to understand each other instead of talking, because she wanted to like see it from the outside, not from the one side and the outside, but with all the problems, like from not only from the family side, not from the system side, but not from the one person, but all. This is all the family, all the people.
So more like a globalized way. So you see that the two other people had like different points of views that you are mentioning. Were they extreme in some ways? these two people who were here?
Yes.
Yeah. What is this person like that is represented here in the front? Yes, me. I was not sure if what Anna Marie wanted to say or
No,
just
I was
judging.
not.
Okay, then people with me.
More conservative, the more conservative side, I would say. More, yeah, conservatism usually means being keen to moral family values and usually being compatible with what the news are presenting. No. Me. Which one is called?
I'm talking about this person.
Yeah. So yeah, more conservative. At the end of the opposite.
So you are saying that this person was the
conservative side.
family values and this way, and the other person was the opposite of that?
Opposite, yeah. At least more eager to hear what they're talking about.
Okay. Ellen, you want to say something? Ellen?
Yes. Also, like very judgmental was this person here. Like didn't wanted to understand really what is happening, but just blaming. They got this, but they didn't use it. Or the colleague, they didn't want to go deep into the problem, but just judging and blaming them for everything.
Blaming them.
And then this person was the opposite, like thinking that they had no help, they had no support for this like
Boyka and then Aneta?
I'm sorry for going back a little bit, one question back, but I don't think these opinions, like these voices, were extreme because we listen to them all the time, and like they're very average. Especially this one here that is just taking whatever it sees on TV and just repeating, yes, it's to blame, he's the lazy, and so on and so on. It's the mainstream opinion, so I don't think it was extreme.
So you hear a lot of this type of opinion?
Very much, yeah, reproducing what is going on the screen, on stage, on generally in front of. And then this voice here, okay, it was again trying to say something, but the mainstream opinion was like a river.
Stronger, it was overpowering.
He was ready to go on stage, to take the microphone, to tell everybody what's wrong, I know what is going on.
Do you know people like this? Oof. Yeah. Oof. Okay. Okay. Do you know people like that? Yeah. Okay. You are nodding. What was Dorina's main narrative? She was often saying different things. Like we will see. But Aneta, you wanted to mention something.
Same as Boyka.
Same as Boyka. Okay. So what about Dorina's character? Yeah.
It seemed to me like kind of the mainstream opposition, like focusing on things that should take the blame out of the family or highlight some institutional problems, but still at the surface level probably.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Alexa and then Andrea.
Yes, I would say challenging the adequacy of the way the support is provided from the government, for example, or from the institutions. So there is support, yeah, but is it adequate? Is it professional enough, suitable for what's going on? So I think such people are challenging this and trying to look beyond. And I would also say they are bringing about some additional level of empathy towards the situation, which can sometimes be good. Sometimes it can be also the empathy towards those who are oppressors in the systems. But yeah, this is.
Also highlighting these different opportunities, that they are not just people are different, so they have different access or different possibilities of access or use different opportunities that are there. So it's not so simple like she was trying to make.
Do you know people, some of you were nodding, but I'm just asking, do you know people like Dorina's character? You were already saying some of you. Maybe not that many as this one. Okay. Yes?
We do. As I think Alexander says that said that Dorina's persona was kind of challenging. That I guess still we can all agree that you represented the main opinion, the most frequent at least. But we all see challenging opinions from younger generations with more perceptions, more international perceptions coming in. But still, I agree with Alexander that it was surfaced a bit because younger people have the attitude to challenge the mainstream opinion, but the media are still there, and it's really difficult to change completely when this is the main stimulus. Yeah, yeah, that you see.
Okay. How about the character that is in the back? Now we all know that it was played by Tommy, so it is different. I don't have to refer like him. What was his attitude like? Was it pro? Minus? Yeah, Alexander.
Trying to highlight the middle ground, maybe go for a conversation, but still I had the impression he was not taking sides, but trying to propose a method or a practice to solve the problem.
Wojtka, and then.
I think it goes along with what Alex said. These, we call it in Greece, equal
distances.
Equal distances, like trying to be neutral and to analyze the situation, give space to everybody. But generally, this is also not. So this also gives space to the abuser, to the oppressor, and so on. So it's not a positive character in the society because it gives too much space in a way.
But what Wojtka said, I see the character of Darina more like that, like this, and I saw Tommy as somebody being more critical because he was mentioning like, okay, they got financial support, but they got psychological help. So not only blaming the system, also looking more deep into the family, so looking all the sides of the fault of this situation that happened.
So you would see it a bit differently,
I'm seeing the character of Tommy as more neutral, more balanced ground. But I think he also, he can be, for me, he can be either one or two things, being neutral. He can he's either trying to challenge, he's in the process of challenging the popular opinion, so he's thinking loud, like, okay, this can be good, this can be bad, but let's see. Or he may have a clear side, that or that, and he may be diplomatic intentionally for his own purposes. We see people in purpose being diplomatic, not taking sides, and using the middle ground to infiltrate. So yeah.
I don't see Tommy as a neutral character. I see Tommy as actually trying to see from multiple perspectives this problem. So it's actually trying to understand deeper and from different points of view, also institutional, also personal, also regarding opportunities and the more a holistic thing. And I don't think that makes it neutral. Actually, it makes it look deeper and more broad to the problem. Because at the end, he said it's not as simple like that or that or that. It's actually much more complex, and we need to analyze from many points of view.
In your
yeah, actually, I think I understand what you want to say. Probably the objective is a better word here then, because yeah, neutral is like somebody who doesn't care about the things in a way, like by emotions. But yeah, it's like an objective person, more like who wants to solve the issue, but yeah, finding other perspectives as well. So probably objective is a better word then.
I mean, you can interpret these characters differently, and it's totally okay how you are looking into these people. Do you meet people like Tommy? I didn't ask that. Do you find people?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Even though if you are thinking that's more like neutral or critical or analytical or other ideas. Okay, right now, I'm just asking because now it was about the topic and about this certain case, which is inspired by a real story. So it actually happened, it was in the news, how it was happening. What are the stories that you are maybe talking? Do you have like this kind of discussions with your families, with other topics, when you are having different characters or different ways of opinions about different things? And yes, some of you are nodding. At this moment, I will ask you to get into groups of 3 or 2 or turn to the person who is next to you and just discuss what are the topics that are coming in your realities up as for debate. Some things that you are debating about, or you have really either extremist different views, or you are seeing it differently, either because, as you said, it's generational, or it can be also because opinion is different. So what are the common topics? I'm just giving you a couple of minutes to discuss what are the topics that you are usually having similar discussions about, or have extreme views about things that you Thank you very much. I would like to ask you to share also with the others what you were coming to. Some of the topics, maybe some of them are going to be the same, who knows? Some of the topics that came up in your discussion. Just share some of them that you were sharing, or you were hearing from others. Andrea.
About Roma community.
Roma people, Romania.
Like getting social support or any kind of advantage, and then similar thing like they are lazy, they don't want to work, state is giving so much money on them, wasting their money, and they don't do. And then there will be the people that will be, but wait a second, they don't have they live in bad conditions or background discrimination in the society, and so similar things about the Roma people in different parts of the country. Or in general.
Okay, Roma, right?
You're talking about Venezuelans who have come in large numbers to there, have returned in fact. Also issues related to access to health, which is not the best. Issues related to the management of public spaces, like what is the responsibility of the town hall or the government or this or that. And was that it? Yeah.
So these are also sometimes extreme in their communication and their discussions. Violetta?
We had the same discussion as Andrea, like about Roma, but not only Roma people. Generally, groups of unprivileged groups, like refugees in Greece or minorities, yes.
Okay, so it's also not just Roma, but also other not that privileged group of minorities and so on. Matilda and then Boyka.
So here we also talked about the Venezuela situation and all the immigrants that are coming back. We talked about a lot about the environment and what's happening. And I think because at least in my household, I have me and my brother will suffer the consequences of climate change maybe more than my parents will. We constantly bring this topic up. Politics all the time, and then how it also influences jobs, money, the taxes, everything. I think we also talk a lot about it. Oh yeah, but that's kind of related to the environment situation, but food choices and its impact with veganism and vegetarianism, its impact on the world and everything else.
So food related also.
Yes. Depois precisamos de camões.
Boyka?
We heard this already, but I want to raise first because it is actually the same. What Andrea said, we have very often and sometimes very heated discussions about the status of the Roma communities and the Roma people in Bulgaria, about the reasons behind and so on. So it's not just a personal opinion, but I think it's really that the views of two generations. And then in projection, also what Violetta said. When I try to explain, then I take examples also from other marginalized groups, and the discussion is never going well, ending with a fire.
Ending with a fire. Okay. Ari?
We discuss the issues political, issues from religion, and job. If you have job, good job, or a lot of money, you have to work harder. This is about status and how to manage to be more money in your pockets.
Okay. All right. There are a lot of tension sometimes with these debates, as you were mentioning also that it can be hard. Who is creating, or why are these strong, big tensions between people's opinion? Why do we see the same situation so differently? What do you think?
the way that you were raised. Also, yeah.
So like how you were raised, family values? Yeah,
I would even say that sometimes if you come from a family who benefits from the state, and then you have a family who doesn't benefit from it, that also will strongly influence your point of view with problems regarding the state. Because if the state did something good for you, you will not be against it. But if the state never helped you, you will be against it.
So it's kind of like loyalty a bit.
I think sometimes in a ways what have you gotten and what's your experience with the government, and if it's good you will support it and you think everything's fine, and in that way then your political views are also different than someone who never benefited from it.
That's loyalty and corruption.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
we talked about
corruption.
corruption a lot.
I was going to say that I agreed a little bit with what you were saying, but I was going to add the corruption because you can have benefits from the state, but if you have critical thinking and if you are against corruption, you can still have an opinion about what is happening. So just wanted to.
Definitely. You wanted to say something too. And then
different opinions comes from different education and different life experience, I think.
Okay, wake up.
I want to put some light on the tensions because these are the family connections. And these are, so if I find opinions like this on the street or by chance, I go away, I don't have energy to fight with everybody. But with the family it's not the same, because these are people I love, and I really see some perspective of having a dialogue, sometimes more heated, sometimes more civilized, but still I cannot go away, because it's not so simple. So all I can do is to try to explain and to bring this another point of view. And this is so a light on the tension and the reasons so why we keep on having these dialogues and fights.
Here,
Your question was why are these different opinions?
yeah, what is influencing us?
I mean, in the matter of Roma or maybe even refugees or immigrants or other specific groups, I think it's a lot of prejudices and maybe racism or xenophobia or discrimination. So we are often talking, the root of the discussion is about Roma is really regarding the prejudices. So there are people that are judging and looking down to them and then blaming them for different things. But there is also at the society level a lot of scapegoating. So if there is a problem in the society, I don't know, low poverty level or low level salaries, and then, okay, why the state cannot give bigger salaries? Okay, let's see what is the problem. So it's happening, for example, in Romania, that the people that are getting social support are being blamed for the low budget of the economy in Romania. Yeah? So then let's look at this and blame them for other problems instead of really looking at the real guilty people.
And is it coming from internal source or it's coming from external sources, information, whom to blame and xenophobia and prejudices?
It's both, because these people, for example, don't have the ones that have strong prejudices. Yeah, they never met Roma people, they never interacted with them, so they have this generalization and judgment. So it's also personal experience, lack of personal experience, beyond what media and what they get from the society and so on.
But sometimes, sorry, just a small, sometimes it comes from politicians directly. The Minister for Work, who does this often. She comes and speaks about how people that receive social support don't deserve it, and she makes this really big campaign against people that receive social support.
So it's with intention from politicians, with using tools of media and community.
So in one way they are giving this support, and then in the other they're saying that we shouldn't give it back.
Yeah. They are highlighting that, and with their communication they're highlighting, escalating the problem, right? That you are saying by putting the blame in their communication.
I agree with the idea that your personal education is very important, but also your experience, as you were saying, are super important, because if you have not met enough, I don't know, minority people coming from minorities, you think easily of everything that's told you. If you have not seen many realities, you are more likely to believe what people tell you. if you meet people from different parts of the world, if you see how they live, if you meet more and experience more, it's easier to have a critical thinking and see that not everything that is said to you is absolute truth. You have my grandfathers and grandmother will never have my same point of view because they have not experienced everything I experienced, even if they are older than me, and they are more likely to believe what is going to be told them.
I want to give an example from Greece, from the island of Lesbos, where there was a big, and it still is a big refugee issue. It was an island that, first of all, more than half of the people of Lesbos, they are themselves refugees from Turkey, like from the part of Turkey that was not Greek anymore. And they came to Lesbos, they had the refugee history, and when the refugee crisis came, in the beginning, there was much more solidarity toward people that were crossing the borders. But after some time, they started having the scapegoat symptom that Andrea said, that, okay, we have to blame somebody because we have no tourists anymore, we have no, like everybody is on the street. The whole issue was not solved by European Union and the Greek state, and of course they were blaming the people that they were had in front of them.
The blaming is coming also because there's something happened and something didn't happen.
What I want to say is that maybe the problem comes from the system as a whole, from the European Union policies, from the Greek state and government, but if you see somebody in front of you, it's easier to blame the people that you see and not, because it's not to blame the European Union, but because what should you do about it? I mean, it's easier to do something and to become a fascist and say, like, violence against refugees than to say, I don't know, how to change the European Union legislation.
Something that is local, something is approachable, something that you can point at, right? Okay. Yes?
I believe that the manipulation of the media is based on the fear and the anger of people.
Okay, yeah, these are, what do you think about this, right? Manipulation of media manipulation, fear and anger of people. Would you like to say more about it, or this is clear cut? Okay, is it the reality in your countries too that media is manipulative and is approaching on your fear, fear and anger? Okay, God, you wanted to say something earlier.
Yes, I mean, in Greece, in Lesbos, it came extremely amount of percentage-wise also refugees. Yes, your question. I think what you read and what you listen to, I think that's also shaping your point of view very much.
How do you decide? Because now here we also saw, the news reporting, of course, maybe you choose these channels or not. How do you choose the media that you are getting the information from? Or on what basis do you choose that you are getting the information from? You were saying that it's manipulated and formed by media.
I really love this podcast where you get the sources, so you can go in and click and check it out yourself, instead of having one minister saying something and then what is this based on, and then they never, and then also the state channel never gives the source of anything. So for me, source-based thing which you can, that's a nice thing.
How about the others?
Depending on the type of information that I want to receive if I want to learn about news, what happened, I try to find something that is as short as possible, like this happened there, period. To avoid the shaping of opinion, like, okay, this man killed this woman, period. Not the aftermath. If I want to find an opinion, to find an article of opinion. Normally, I avoid television or something with video. I choose newspapers, I choose international media. I said it some days ago in another discussion, I like data. I can read data, so I like seeing data. And also podcasts by journalists or people that I have come to like saying multiple times. So that's my process.
Thank you. Anybody else concerning this question? How do you decide which media to consume and which can be maybe trustworthy, or you are just doing more?
You said that you avoid videos. I also don't watch TV and I choose different types, but there is one program which I really like because if it's about the political issues, there's one program which confronts like four sides, four different parties that represent them, so they have the voice and we can somehow see their behavior, their points of view, the stupid things they say, the smart things they say. So these confrontations of different sides, for me, it's very like
valuable. So seeing both sides or more sides of the same, different perspectives of the same story. Ani?
I was thinking one time because this question came to me recently many times, and at the time I was not sure because I decided to not consume at all media.
So no media, this is what Ani is saying, no consuming.
And
you go yourself.
Because I ask myself, what it change if I know this happens there, and if I am able to change this reality, or if it is just like noise in my head, making more worries, and even if you don't know what is true. So I'm controlled anyway, even if it has that data, because it's more, we can trust it. For me, it is okay to check, maybe, I'm not saying that I'm not consuming at all, because it's impossible, like if I will not consume and I don't scroll or I don't go specific pages which I more trust, for example, or not, because I'm never sure if it is really true that. It's not about also true, because I'm not sure if for me this is relevant, if I really need to know this. So, and in general, I think it's better to experience, or the better way to go and to see by yourself, and to have your own experience and your reality. So it can be, again, subjective, but it will be yours. And even if my friends, because what I recently did was I blocked all media, like the ones from Georgia, which was for me too extreme, both sides, because we know both, like you know that if you want to know reality, you need to choose both to see it, like to have general idea, because it's totally like black and white. But still I am receiving news from my friends, and then I get again sad or concerned about the subjects. So I know what is going on, but of course like them, still I believe that they don't know true. So I believe that also I just know some information what's going on, because if it is bomb, so I will say that okay, at least to be just really close and not to watch anything, it's also very
So you
bad.
don't watch it, don't consume it, or try to minimize it
Yeah,
directly,
I am trying
but through
to-
your friends it's still getting to you.
Yeah,
What
but
is your
it's not
message?
the same, because there would sometimes they send me, look, this happens, and I don't even open. Okay, I know it's happened, but what can I do? Because this is really trash for me, for myself. Because if I am not there, or if I am not able even to change things about that, then I don't want to interact and to have, because one thing is to know, and another thing is to analyze. So I don't want to spend energy just to knowing things and could not analyze it.
I'm going to comment on what Ani said, because in some way I kind of disagree. Because there are some things that I can't like immediate or directly do something to change, but I think it's important to be informed. And it's important to know what is going on. Even if you can't do something right away to change it, I think it's important to know what's happening and even if it's not in my home country. I mean, and also, sometimes I can't just trust my own experience because I'm not informed enough to trust it by itself. I mean, you have situations, and I think one of the best is like you have climate change, you have all these things that you as an individual that is not informed or educated about it enough, you can't make your own assumptions by your experience. It's not because today was 40 degrees, you say, oh, or today was cold and it's summer, and you say, oh, you see, it's not that hot. Global warming is not real. I don't think sometimes your experience is enough to judge the situation. The other thing that I was going to say is my mom is a journalist, so she works in the media, and I think because of that, for having an inside perspective of the media and knowing the dirt that sometimes goes around, I've always been, from a young age, able to kind of interpret in a different way the things that are brought to me. And sometimes we would be discussing stuff and we'd be hearing the news at the table, and my mom would be saying like, this is not true, because today I saw the report and I saw something completely. It's just so interesting how manipulative things can be, and I think having an inside perspective on certain things was.
And how can you detect, maybe some of you already wanted to comment, that it's manipulative, that the media is manipulative? How can you be aware of it? If you don't have your mother at breakfast saying it, I'm just saying it also because you are lucky, but maybe some others.
I think sometimes, and just going to make this quick, I think sometimes, and I've done this, like when you go and you have an election, if you watch the show or the TV or the channel, that you know that it's biased or that supports a certain party that you don't agree with it, if they say that the party that they prefer is actually losing, it's also a way of saying if they are normally the ones who manipulate stuff and they're saying that it's losing, maybe it's because it's true. Because they would make it, I don't know if this makes sense.
So it's about the birding and
sometimes
how the
I think it's
birds are
watching both and like getting a, I don't know, it can be very tricky. I mean, it is tricky and it's awful that it's biased. Yeah,
okay, but
sorry.
cool, thank you. A lot of people raised hand. We will go from here to the, yes, I will go with Bella and then Anna-Marie. No, sorry. I will be coming. I just don't see backward. It's hard, but thank you.
Why?
Yeah.
I think there are many ways to escape from manipulation, but I think that sharing and listening to other people telling something they heard is helpful, because if they don't have the ability of some media to use the correct words and the correct phrases, it's more easy to find flaws, because I'm telling you what I heard in my own way, so it's easier for you that are listening making question about it, because I'm not as good as a media or someone that works specifically with that and use the right sentences to turn the questions as low as possible. So it's easier if you're talking to someone that is just telling you what they heard to find flaws and make a question. And if somebody is like, oh, I don't know this, then it's easier to go and check on something, because you are more likely to question it. Just don't believe it for what it is.
So questioning a lot. Anna-Maria, you wanted to say something?
I have this idea. It came in my mind. I want to add to Matilde something that I don't think in our society is now enough to get informed. It's just to get immune to this kind of information. So in order to get immune, I think you have to read a lot, media, and of course books. So I think it's important to read in our society, to make people read more and more and more and more, not from media, just from books and everything. So that is my idea that I wanted to share with you.
So reading more, getting more information,
yes.
And this leads to immunity?
Yes, I think yeah, more than informed, get immune to this kind of, I don't know.
Impacts that are coming.
Yes.
Can I comment on it?
Yeah,
very short?
yeah, and that's it, please.
Think of how many hours the author had used to dig into one topic, and then you get this in some few days. It's really to read the book is such a gift.
Yes, exactly. Ari?
You said the question is how manipulate the media.
And how you can detect that it's manipulative.
Okay, my thought is simple. The media is not somewhere in the world. It's their business. They have owners. The owners of a TV channel or, excuse me, or a newspaper. For example, in Greece, I know this channel, the owner of this channel is a friend, a close friend to the government. The lines that, the information that I am receiving from this channel or this newspaper, I know from a priori that is not fake, I don't say that, but I know in my head that comes in from the government directly. I know this thing.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay,
You understand.
And then, if I know this, if I have the critical mind to separate the impact, then it's the second for me step to analyze the information. But I think that we have to know where the information comes.
So the sources, the motivation, the finances
yes.
behind it,
You
you're
have
saying?
to-
And after filtering, then making it another one. But I want to, so I know that Greece became really active after this, but now let's go to Hungary and then I will move to Alexander.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to point out that I actually agree with Ani because I mean, as I understand your opinion, is not about like not listening to the news anymore. It's more like finding a balance in it, because sometimes it doesn't help. I mean, I'm sorry, but I disagree partially with you on it, because sometimes reading everything you can read about the topic just makes you distressed all the time, and sometimes you don't even recognize it happens to you. Let me give you an example. Last year, of course, there was this COVID thing, and I was really focusing on following day by day. I was listening to the governmental news, I was listening to the oppositional news, I was like checking all the information, what are the numbers, what are the new regulations and stuff. And after like 8 months, I got fed up. I just felt like I'm always sitting in my room and I'm like, I don't know what is happening to me. And at a certain point, I just decided not to follow this shit at all. Like, at all. And you know what happened? I still got the information about the new regulations, but I wasn't stressed about COVID because I was still trying to follow the regulations, and I was taking care of the issue on the level I could do, like on my level. When I got on the bus, I take the mask. Anytime I went between people, I took the mask. I was always washing my hands and stuff. I still did that, so I didn't I did give a shit about it, but not getting distressed about it, because listening to the numbers every time, every day, and like for me not relevant informations are also like something that just stressing me out, because I have nothing to do with it. But still, like, I got the information I needed, and it didn't help if I got all the information. So I think this balance is important.
Interesting, because we are seeing it differently. Alexandros wanted to say something about
well, building on what was said, I think the underlying concept is media literacy. If we understand both sides that lie at one part of the information and the creative part of the information. As Ariadne said, media compete for the public opinion. So we know they are trying to market the information they create. From the other part, we as consumers, and this notion is very important, we have a vast array of information in front of us. So it's very important to distinguish between opinion and fact, and this answers directly to your question, how to say what we follow, and be knowledgeable about the media outlets, what are their connections and what they are trying to serve, and also what Balas was saying, trying also to be number literate. A percentage may mean many stuff if it's said in one way or another. So to conclude and answer directly, we must be aware of what we are hearing and what it means, and if it's interpreted or directly transferred to us. What's happening, if it's an interpretation or if it's like this transfer of information.
It's an opinion or it's about news. Violetta, you wanted to say something, is it?
Yeah, I just
connected?
wanted, connecting to what I said, I just want to say that following the money, how the money comes to the media is very important because, okay, commercials, state, or I don't know what, there is independent media which gets their money only from the viewers and the supporters, no commercials, no other sources, and I support this. But I mean, all of us, if we want that they exist, we have to support them, be members or like pay a monthly, and that's not easy because otherwise you have everything for free. But the money comes from other sides, and then it's not independent.
Yeah, maybe you could be the spokesman for one of our members. He would be so happy for this attitude. Gabor, you wanted to say something.
Thank you so much. I just want to connecting for previous things. So, yes, I can accept, and it's true, the media platform has owners, So, if I'm not mistaken, it's true, but not just this is the only problem, because it's a very good thing you try care with balance and informations, but if you write everything only one topic, you won't know the truth, because and it's not an evil thing. I cannot remember her personal name, but the family name is Neumann. Volt egy tanulmánya.
So there was an essay written about?
Written about the information system, for example, the news, the television news, the newspapers, etc., etc. So the first step, the information, the issue, the situation, what's happening. The second step, the informators collecting the things. The informators give to the gate guardian, gate guardian. The gate guardian, who could be anyone, selecting to the informations, because impossible give every details about issue story in the news, and it's not an evil thing. It's just necessary.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lele wanted to say something. I think I'm missing some people if I sit down. Okay, let's see Lele, and then we go.
I think that it's very important to be informed, but also to remember always that we are, as sorry, I don't remember your name. No. He was saying that we are customers. So if something exactly as Badr was saying as COVID is so redundant and we hear it from everything, the only thing we can do at one point is turn off TV, phone and stuff like that. Because for example in Italy in late 2020 it was starting to you can start to see programs about the early days of COVID pandemia, and the pandemia was not even over. It was like a throwback to the early days with data and everything that happened, and that's all we heard for more than 1 year, and we were already doing throwbacks of what was at the early days. And at one point I had to look into my mother's eyes, and I told her, if you don't turn off the news, I will change house.
Okay.
And once we stopped looking...
So you say that what to believe or what to
We stopped watching the news because I'm the one cooking, so...
So your technique is just to eliminate sometimes something,
Sometimes,
to
yes,
ask people not to bring this into
if
your
it's
reality.
too much or if it's really redundant, we are still customers. We can say, no, I don't want this right now.
So this is the technique that you are using. What are the other techniques that you are using? Or maybe it was a previous question that you wanted to comment on. How do you know that media is manipulating? Yeah.
Sorry. So it is addition to the...
I can't hear, I'm sorry.
In addition to what Balazs was saying about the balance, like I believe that we should like ask ourselves questions, a lot of questions, but like at the same time not so much, like the perfect dose of it, because if we like questioning everything and maybe also put a lot of empathy and compassion and so on and so forth, if like we should have this state like where to stop, because we would be so confused if we ask too much questions and like question everything that is, you know, like I think it's perfect dose and the balance, what Balazs was saying.
How to find
Yes, it's hard, but I
How to find
balance.
this balance. And Annie wants to say with this balance.
I think I have the answer, but of course it's subjective again, because we are all humans and we want to control. We want to control everything, even in daily life, and this is so natural, and we want to be informed. This is also like what we are told, and like we grow in media. It's our century. It's so everywhere. If you disconnect everything, still you are in touch with from friends. But the thing is that we have like things we only can have prognosis and we cannot control it. And the second is that we can explain and find explanation, and this is half controlled by ourselves. And another one is what we really care, like what we want and we really care. I don't know if I will make it clear, but I will try. Prognosis is that, for example, number of coronavirus cases. Even if you check every day, you cannot really control it. So you are getting stressed to check every day, and then what? I don't know if you get it. So this is something we cannot control. So this is just make noise, a lot of noise in your mental health. So you get so many information and you are just stressed. And the second one, which you can give explanation. So the second one, where you can give explanation, is that one half you can control. Because like, for example, if my friend sends me news something, if I trust her so much that I know that she can be right, so maybe I will get this information, I accept, or I will find also another way, so I still give explanation. And my brain will be calm because at least I found the answer. But the third one is natural one, which we can want and need to explain, because it's something we are dealing in. For example, the topics we are touched by, I don't know, by our experience, by our feelings, it's easier for us to go deep and to make analytics, and this is what I do. And where is balance? For me, it should be balanced. What is your need and what you want to know? Because if you don't control this, then media controls you, then you become anyway consumer, whatever you want or not. So it's like impossible to take a control. So if
you're saying that the topic focus on the topics and see on both sides of the topic.
Yeah,
different
like for
aspects of
example,
that.
Matilda was saying she did not agree with me. I understand because I'm subjective. I'm really subjective because it's my choice not to hear what I don't want. And I think
But also others were also mentioning that.
for example, climate change, I'm really clear and like on, and I have another way to see. Like, not
So you
just
are
media
deciding what
checking.
from these things I'm reading more, going deeper, listening to
Documentary,
different
other
opinions, and the others
yeah.
I'm excluding. And Ari has the last comment in this.
Okay. Maybe I blow up the conversation. I don't know if it's relative, but
Bring your best for doing
okay. But on Facebook, when you post something, you inform also. Okay. In Greece, I think, I don't know if it's happening in other countries, a group make a song about criticize the government and post it. Okay, and after, I don't know, the Greek group picked up me, after 2 days, you know, cut.
So it was taken down,
Yeah.
and the profile also.
Yes,
And also the profile.
it happened often when I wanted to make something, some post, and the words that I use, they annoy somebody. Who is that somebody? I don't know. Okay, we think a lot of about this. Is this another discussion? But the posts are done. This is not a manipulation. This is a
Censorship.
direct
Censorship.
dictatorship. I don't know.
That's censorship. There's also self-censorship, and you remove it because you are afraid that people are going to do
But
that.
you're criticizing the state. I mean,
This is criticized. It happens in Norway. This is what God is saying.
it is.
Okay. Aneta, how about the
This is part of social media, it is on Facebook, it is on Instagram, and I don't know more, but probably in Twitter and so on. Just to somehow control and not to protect before the hate speech and the violent comments or something which is pushing to the violence and so on. But actually, we don't know where the borders and who. I know. But this is dysfunction. So this is the main mission and the idea of this. But actually, we are not aware of the borders and who is actually putting those borders and controlling actually what is this. If it is in these borders of hate speech or violence and so on, or not. So this is also, it can be also used, but we are not aware of that. Of this
so should I report it or not?
The intention should be good, but then sometimes it is too far.
Or it can be done to the other way, pointing, right?
Yeah.
It is possible to use totally other kind of social medias, for example, like Float, Steam, to use Steam it as a place instead of YouTube, which is transferring, to use.
So you see that they what are they different from the other? Are they more trustworthy? Are they less biased?
They don't censor hardly anything. I mean, it's very little. I mean, it's not allowed to have pornographic things. It's not around there, and there is some.
Do you trust this media? Do you fully trust this media that you were mentioning? I'm just asking.
I'm not using it myself. I mean, I use the alternative to YouTube. I'm not in social media.
I'm just also saying, because we wanted to create the attention on something, what you are using and what you are consuming, that can also be what do you believe and what not. And what are the signs that maybe there's manipulation going on? And we saw and heard a lot of techniques from you, either from personal or from experience or blocking or looking behind if it's an opinion or how it is pictured, who is behind, what is the aim of this information, and a lot of things. Maybe follow the money that were also mentioned by you. I would like, maybe you will have.
Super quick.
Okay.
It's just like in response. It's super quick. Just in response to what Ari was saying about the post being taken down, and I know of cases like that. You can also look like Trump, who had Twitter, and his account was taken down because he was just saying a bunch of lies. So I think sometimes it's not about, I mean, I know that sometimes it's biased and it's based on the content and who's supporting and who's offending, but I also think that sometimes the social media just takes down something that can be not true or can offend somebody, and to create an environment where everybody is comfortable, not that sometimes it's the best thing, they take down accounts, even if it's people in power and people who have control.
But it's also again, I was saying, where is the border and who knows what is the border and who has the power to push the red button. But I have the power to push the red button now. Thank you for your attention.